Live from $1 Million Studios, Crispy Zach.
The man that's so pale, we whitewash our cameras with his skin.
And the benchmark of professional wrestling, Mr. Silky Baines.
That was pretty good, I thought.
I love it how you don't even finish the intro nowadays. You just pat yourself on the back for the silly stuff that you do. What's up, Ella Chica? Good to see you. Speez of the Benchmark Show on a Wednesday night, July the 24th, 2019. We thank you so much for being with us here. Jody, Ella Chica, all of you filing into the chat room here. It's great to have you with us. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to help out the program, you can do so by becoming a subscriber for as little as $4.99 a month. Or if you got Amazon Prime, it's free. All that information scrolling down below there. You can also drop those bits or leave us a tip at the tip jar, tinyurl.com/SB tip jar. Tell them why, Silky.
Because these bills need to get paid.
Indeed they do. And of course, if you want to get in on the conversation tonight, you can do so on the phone lines. 832-937-4559 is the number to get in.
That's 832-93-SILKY.
832-93-SILKY. We're going to be talking All Elite Wrestling television deal. We have a start date for the AEW television program, and it appears that the NWA, under the leadership of Billy Corgan, might be looking for some television themselves. So we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. We'll also get to the latest news.
That's fucking interesting, man. That's fucking interesting.
Yes, it is. We'll also get to some news on SummerSlam, some of the latest rumors and goings-on from last night on SmackDown Live. And, of course, it is a Wednesday night. You know what that means. It's time
part of Wednesday
for Silky's Top 5 Wrestlers of the Week. He will unveil this week's Benchmark Power Rankings. So, once again, glad to have everybody here. Michael Berry Sr., thank you very much for the host, good sir. We appreciate that. And let's get right down to it, Silky. So we found out earlier today, Jody Mania is very excited for AEW.
Yeah. I mean...
What's up, noob?
I don't know if I'm excited, but I'm definitely intrigued.
Intrigued, but not excited.
Yeah, because, I mean, I haven't been knocked out of my seat by AEW. It hasn't been bad. Like, their shows are actually good. It's the pre-shows that suck donkey dick.
Good to have you, Michael Berry Sr. Glad to have you with us.
But I'm wondering how they can sustain this on a weekly, or is it going to be weekly, bi-weekly, whatever?
Weekly television show. We found out today.
On a weekly basis, how are they going to make the storylines interesting? Because, I mean, most of the stuff they're running now don't even need real hype. Because, I mean, you're just booking off the names of the, Omega versus Jericho.
They don't need real hype if you're familiar with those guys. But I was talking to the guys from the Heel Turn podcast, which shout out to B-Mac and Kyle King. If you're not listening to the Heel Turn podcast, you can check those guys out. They had their 100th episode they were recording earlier today. Were so kind as to let me call into the show, so it was very nice to chat with those fellas.
They didn't ask me.
They did ask you, but you were working, so,
Oh, you just didn't relay that to me.
Yeah, because I said Silky will be working.
I could have made arrangements for that.
You would not have made arrangements for that. You don't even make arrangements to get to our show.
This is the 100th episode.
And you're telling me you're going to make arrangements to get to that show.
That is a momentous thing.
I know it's a momentous thing.
So I could have.
I spoke on our behalf.
Yeah.
And I spoke very well. I spoke very highly of you. Which I'm sure you would have done if you were there. You would have done the same for me, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
full of shit. You would have done nothing like that.
Kill yourself.
There you go. We got Negro Damas Kill Yourself here. We did find out today that the first AEW televised show will be on October the 2nd. It is a Wednesday night, and it will be a weekly program, a weekly 2-hour program starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time. Again, every Wednesday night. This first show will be from Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena, where the Washington Wizards play their home games. And we found out quite a bit about what they are planning on doing. Now, at the press, I guess there was a press get-together where a bunch of networks get together and tout their new programming for the upcoming season. And they had Brandy and Cody, and Nyla Rose was there, Jungle Boy was there, Awesome Kong was there, so on and so forth. They were touting the diversity and so on and so forth about AEW wrestling and what they were bringing to the table. But one thing just got here, who's taking shit? Or who's talking shit? I think he meant talking shit.
I think he meant talking shit.
He did a great job, his only job on the 100th show. Thank you very much, Texas Legends fan. Good to have you here. Bob Ruski, good to see you. Kyle King from the aforementioned Heel Turn Podcast, joining us in the chat as well. One thing I found interesting, first of all, your one-stop shop for all post-wrestling shows is right here on the Speez and the Benchmark show and our buddies at Get the Tables. We're live every Monday night after Raw. Get the Tables is live every Tuesday night after SmackDown Live. And we will be live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m., like we always are, immediately after the AEW show. So it works out nicely for us. We'll probably be competing with about 50 other podcasts that decide to start broadcasting on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. But you know where the good shit is. It's right here on the Speez and the Benchmark show. Among the things they were talking about, Silky, and I got to get your opinion on this. I did not show Silky this ahead of time. Well, this is one of the things that they talked about today in their press release. I'm talking about All Elite Wrestling. Now, we already know that they've been mentioning about how they're going to make wins and losses matter and some of the things that they're going to be doing on the program. I want to show you this quote from their press release earlier today. So I'm going to get your thoughts first, and I also want to hear from you guys here in the chat. But this was from the All Elite Wrestling press release earlier today about their upcoming television program. Introducing statistics to wrestling for the first time ever, AEW will raise the stakes for its matches and deepen fan engagement by tracking each competitor's wins and losses as wrestlers pursue championships. Their moves and damage to their opponents will also be analyzed on air to provide insights into their winning streaks. So from what I understand here, Silky, it would appear that there's going to be
what the fuck are you talking about?
Some kind of statistic, advanced statistic, to keep track of moves and damage to the opponent on All Elite Wrestling.
1 second. 1 second.
Still getting used to the soundboard.
What the fuck?
Okay.
There you go. What in the blue fuck? Like, I don't understand this.
Am I reading that incorrectly? Let me go back.
No, from what you read, that's what it sounds like. How the fuck are you going to track damage to somebody?
Their moves and damage to their opponents will also be analyzed on air to provide insights into their winning streaks.
I mean, what in the actual fuck?
Is it I mean,
now they
analyzed
doing too
on
much.
air, is that going to be a statistic, or are they just going to tell us, oh, that shit really hurt? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, or 75% of the time, this works every
works
time.
every time.
No, but for what the fuck? Yeah, Kyle King says it best. I mean, I want to watch wrestling. This is like, we're not playing a fucking video game. There's no fucking health meters, life bars in fucking wrestling.
I understand this.
So are they going to do it and actually go full-on cartoon video game where each person's life bar will be there? So every time they take a move, it goes down?
That would actually be hilarious if they did that.
That
would be hilarious.
It's a goddamn abortion and a disgrace.
That's what that would be.
Hello, Alice. Good to see you. Just interested on what they actually use for this, says Bobaruski. I'm with you.
It sounds like they're trying to do too fucking much.
It does, though. It really does.
It really does. I mean, just wins and losses matter. I'm okay with even tracking like Kenny Omega's like 62 and 48. I mean, long as you don't go into it too much.
Right.
But to have that in the back pocket to justify whatever the fuck you're doing on your show, I get that. Now you're just doing too much to be different.
Well, we don't know what it is yet, to be fair. I mean, I'm trying to keep an open mind about it.
To be fair,
it does sound a little ridiculous, but...
in all due respect, that sounds like the dumbest fucking thing I've ever
Bob
heard.
Ruski says if a motherfucker gets driven on his head, 75%. You don't want to have the hot 5% move is what you don't want to have.
The hot 5. Like, is it going to be Mortal Kombat when you're at like 5%, you're just like...
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. So anyway, an interesting quote there in terms of the statistical analysis that will be available from AEW. Again, those of you just joining us, All Elite Wrestling will premiere on Wednesday, October 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time. And you will catch us at our regular time, 9 p.m. Central Time, immediately after the show, to talk about the first AEW episode. Don't forget, Smackville is this Saturday, says... Alice. They're going to put damage vests on them like laser tag to track their damage, says Jody Mania.
This sounds like one of the Young Bucks kids made this idea.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The football guys are diving too much into getting statistical. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is not Moneyball. There's no formula. It's just wrestling. That's all I want to watch.
Well, then we had Stephen Hawkins to explain the stats to us. So we had that this evening, and then we had good old Chief Branding Officer Brandy Rhodes, and I refuse to call her Chief Brandy Officer because that's
you just did.
Fucking stupid. Thank you very much, Alice, for liking the shirt. Brandy apparently made a comment that ruffled a few feathers online. I took two things from this. So I want to get Silky's reaction as well. So this was just one of the comments from Chief Branding Officer Brandy Rhodes earlier this evening. Brandy Rhodes points out that AEW, this is from Megan O'Keefe's Twitter, at MegsOK on Twitter, by the way.
Who the fuck is she?
Somebody who was there to hear this. Brandy Rhodes points out that AEW is diverse because they are going for, quote, the best talent. Another quote, we're not looking for a blonde that's 5'4". We're looking for Kia Stevens. Or Kaya Stevens. How do you pronounce it? Kia Stevens. Kia Stevens, for those of you who don't know,
Awesome Kong.
is Awesome Kong.
What's the CC19? What the fuck was the hashtag for?
I believe that was the event that she was at.
Okay.
Because this same lady was tweeting about the Watchmen series. So apparently she's just there covering various and sundry networks and what their programming is going to be. So anyway, your thoughts on the Chief Branding Officer mentioning, let's go to the first bit of it. They're going for, quote, the best talent. Now I want to reference a tweet from our buddies at Get the Tables earlier today, who said how ironic it was that Brandy was talking about how they're only going to get the best talent. He said, if that was the case, then why the fuck is Brandy wrestling on their show? Which I thought was kind of funny. She's working hard.
I mean, it's serviceable. I mean,
but it's not.
But do you see it outside of this match with Allie? They have not made it about Brandy.
This is true.
You got to give her that.
I mean, do thus far, most definitely.
I mean, this is that one show was the only show she's wrestled on. I mean, it doesn't look like, from what I've seen, that she's going to be like a big player. If anything, she's going to be more like the authority figure, like a Stephanie McMahon, where, she'll be there. You'll see her a lot.
Thank you for the host, Juanito.
Every now and then she may wrestle.
Yeah.
When the storyline builds to it. But, so, I don't know. It's like, I feel like people are blowing it out of proportion. The fuck was she supposed to say?
I mean,
like,
that
we're
part
looking
of
for
it,
the best wrestlers. Like, the whole, basically she's saying we're not looking for, stereotype, like a good looking. Looks don't matter. Which
Fair
is
enough.
kind of fucked up where she uses her name, because now it's basically where I read it is like, we don't want pretty bitches. We got bitches like her. Like, that's all. If I was also, come on, I'd be like,
what the fuck is that? Yeah, exactly.
like, really?
Well, the second half of it was, we're not looking for a blonde that's 5'4". We're looking for Kia Stevens. Now, the big thing is that Vince McMahon, the big rumor is that Vince McMahon loves him some blondes, and everybody's always talking about how Vince loves his blondes. Was this another thinly veiled shot at the WWE mentioning that, we're not looking for a blonde to fill the blonde 5'4" category. We're just looking for talent.
I mean, literally the only blonde that's 5'4" or even in that range is Alexa Bliss.
That's what somebody said. They were like, why don't you have to take a shot at Alexa Bliss? And another guy replied, there's no fucking way Alexis is 5'4". She's got to be 5 feet if she's lucky.
Yeah. But point being is that, it's, to me, it's just a generic statement. Like, we're not looking for your typical, like, eye candy.
Yeah. And that's kind of the way I took it.
I think, by saying that, people who think everything AEW does is a shot at WWE. I mean, some stuff is, but
some stuff is not.
Yeah. And I think this is just one of those things when you're there, of course you're going to say, I'm looking for the best talent.
It's exactly what we see with Seth Rollins and what Rollins is saying. Of course he feels like he's part of the best company.
Yeah.
And he's going to crush the competition because that's what he should say. Bobaruski says, I think it's saying we ain't looking for Alexa Bliss. That's what it's saying. Noob says best talent means Joshi wrestlers and non-Joshi wrestlers. Am I right? If you're looking for Kia Stevens and not seeing her, you're freaking blind. She is Silky times 5, says Brian.
And the weird thing is, like in person, she's really not that big. I think perspective.
It's context and perspective.
No, I'm thinking it's cameras and all that because when I met her, it's like she's not as big as she looks on TV.
Well, and a lot of those girls are pretty small too. So comparatively speaking, she's going to look huge. If you haven't shared the program over on Twitter and the various social media, if you wouldn't mind spreading the good word, we always appreciate that. And again, if you're new to the show, make sure to hit that follow button. And join us here every Monday after Raw, Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time. So I guess Camera does add 100 pounds, says Freebirds. Kia Stevens would fuck Silky up, says Kyle King.
I wouldn't hit a woman.
Well, okay, then you would get fucked up if you wouldn't hit a woman.
Well, I mean, at some
You're just
point,
gonna let her kick the shit out of you. Then.
Well, I mean, at a certain point, it's self-defense, and then I got to. But
Just
she's
right
actually a
off the
sweet
bat.
person. She's the sweetest person. So
I've heard that about her. I've heard she is great. So AEW once again, October 2nd will be the kickoff for their show. We'll see what they have to offer. Now, a couple other television notes, because there is a lot of wrestling on television going on. Whether or not you found it, it's out there. And it would appear that one more wrestling association is ready to throw their hat in the ring as well. Report earlier today suggested that the NWA has ended its partnership with Ring of Honor, going so far as to pull Nick Aldis off of the Ring of Honor show that was scheduled for the week of SummerSlam. So Aldis apparently will not be on that show. According to the report in Wrestling Inc., it said that it was an amicable split. This was not a nasty thing. But I want to read you a quote from PW Insider. It says, Insider reports that NWA owner Billy Corgan, quote, intends on putting all his energy towards producing a weekly standalone NWA series later this year once he completes the current Smashing Pumpkins tour, end quote. Such a show would join WWE's various offerings, AEW, MLW, Impact, New Japan on Access, and Ring of Honor's show. Thank you, Bill. Dropping the first bits of the evening.
Hi, guys.
Good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for being with us. So, Silky Baines, who has himself wrestled for the NWA in the past,
champion, longest reigning NWA Lone Star champion, tag team champ.
Thank you. Longest reigning NWA Lone Star Tag Team Champion.
I mean, the company went out like the month after we won the title.
You ran them into the ground is what you did. Billy, I only know 4 fucking guys on your roster. Please get more people, says Bobaruski. And that's saying something, Mr. Corgan. Yeah. If Bobaruski doesn't know your roster.
I mean, I know his roster.
Well, you know his roster. You probably wrestled half those guys.
Some of them. I wrestled Tim Storm. So I know.
Is Jack still there? Jack Stain?
Jack Stain? No, I don't think so.
Not as much.
Well, maybe. Yeah, he is, because I think he was on the last.
I was going to say, I thought he was.
Jack Stain. So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot more than 4 Bobaruski. I mean, Colt Cabana was one.
I miss Hollywood Cedric Crane from NWA Southwest. Boy, Brian's just going way back. Just going way back. So here's the question. A couple of questions come up from this. Number one, can NWA find a spot in this already crowded television network insanity that already has, basically 5 promotions airing on national TV?
I mean, because when you think about it, MLW's on beIN Sports. Who the fuck has beIN Sports? I didn't know that fucking channel existed until
that's true.
MLW came about. I don't even know what fucking channel Impact's on.
Impact is on Twitch, number 1, and then they're on that
exactly
that channel.
Fucking exactly.
But there's news on that as well. But go ahead. Yeah, I'm with you.
New Japan's on fucking Access, and they air 6 months old shows.
Yes.
So I mean, really the market, it's only WWE and soon to be AEW.
Right.
So the market isn't as oversaturated with live wrestling as you may think. Because while these companies have shows, they're on obscure channels. They're either on obscure channels. Isn't Access a fucking public access channel?
Access? No.
No.
But that's owned by Mark Cuban.
Oh, okay. But they're on, it's still an obscure channel. I mean, if I didn't watch the New Japan from years back, I would never know what the fuck Access was.
Yes.
So
it's going to be tough for the NWA.
I mean, the toughest part is getting over what Barbaruski said. You really only have, you have Nick Aldis. I guess you have Marty Scurll. I'm assuming he's going to be with them because, Villain Enterprises.
Is he still going to be there with the Ring of Honor partnership over and done with?
Yeah, that is true. So what happens to the tag team titles? Because right now it's Villain Enterprises.
That's the thing. I don't know. It's very strange.
So, and then who didn't fucking Colt just lose
I am not up on current NWA history. All I'm saying is it's already crowded to begin with, and I think Billy Corgan's got a lot of work to do. He's done a fine job up to this point, but they got a long way to go. And yes, Bobaruski, I was just about to talk about that. And in even more television news, seems like all of a sudden, once AEW announced their deal, wrestling companies have gone apeshit trying to get their piece of the pie and make sure they don't lose it, or get a bigger piece of the pie before AEW comes and takes more of it. So this is a story I'm reading from Cage Side Seats, but they always quote from someone else. A few weeks ago, a rumor went around that negotiations were underway for Impact Wrestling to move to Access, New Japan's U.S. broadcast partner and the home of Women of Wrestling. The show, that being the Impact show, is stuck on Pursuit, which isn't in very many homes and hasn't seemed terribly interested in supporting Impact. The thinking was it could form a Saturday Night Wrestling block with New Japan and Women of Wrestling. So, PW Insider followed up with a different account. Per Mike Johnson, who is kind of PW Insider's Dave Meltzer, discussions between Access and Anthem were always about the Canadian company, that being Anthem, acquiring the network in order to add to their footprint in the United States. So in other words, this was not a partnership that was going to happen between Impact and Access, according to Mike Johnson. Anthem, who owns Impact Wrestling, was trying to buy the Access channel outright.
Kind of like a Sinclair thing with Ring of Honor,
I suppose. So that would be my next question, Silky Bands. I know you're not an Impact guy. I've been joining our friends at Get the Tables on Friday nights. Been watching the Impact show pretty regularly. They got a pretty good product going. I would say it's a great product. They got a pretty good product going. Could we see Impact moving back up into a higher threshold of homes via a bigger television network? It certainly seems like they're trying to move in that direction.
Well, I don't think so, because it's not a major. You need to get Impact back on like a major fucking channel that's in every fucking home. You know what I mean? Not on Access, not, which there's nothing wrong with Access, but who watches Access?
Well, this says if the buyout happens, Impact and other Anthem-owned content, like the Fight Network, would land on Access along with their existing shows, including New Japan and Women of Wrestling. So, Insider says that while Anthem's original plan to have the purchase finalized and ready to announce after Impact's Slammiversary pay-per-view, so apparently they wanted to announce this after Slammiversary, that didn't pan out, but the deal is not dead. Again, this according to Mike Johnson from PW Insider. So you've got Impact trying to get over to Access, which would be a much better deal for them than what they've got going on their current channel.
That's a pretty low fucking bar.
Still, nonetheless.
I don't think it's that big of a step up, because it's still an obscure fucking channel that no one really watches.
To be fair, though,
if
wrestling fans already know about Access, I'll put it to you this way. Wrestling fans who watch New Japan Wrestling already know about Access.
Yeah.
So if you put Impact on Access as well,
You get
they're already
the
going to
small
know where that
little
is.
Subsect of people who watch 6-month-old, year-old fucking New Japan shows.
Which is still much better than what they got going now.
I mean,
Again, I'm with you. It's a low bar. But nonetheless, you've got Impact trying to move up and do their thing. You've got the NWA saying now that they want their own weekly show. You still got Ring of Honor out there. You still got AEW coming in October. And you've got the WWE Network. And you've got MLW. And I forgot about Women of Wrestling. They're out there as well. I mean, there's so much wrestling on TV.
but how much of do you actually watch?
No, that's the thing.
I mean,
How many of
much
these
it
can actually
outside
survive?
of WWE is in WWE is actually getting fucking watched? I mean,
That's a good question.
I don't. I mean, I'm sure there are some areas where there's a lot of homes that have like BN Sports, but it's not. I mean, it's not a highly looked for channel.
This is true.
So, I mean, you want the channel, you want a wrestling, especially a company like Impact, which is, and this is not a knock because, you know, I always talk shit about Impact, but a company like Impact is not going to bring people over to your channel. It's going to be just like what happened with Destination America, what happened with whatever fucking channel they were on before that. It's like you're putting it, it's not going to work. In my opinion, I don't think that putting them on Access is going to do anything for them. It's not going to increase their viewership. Because, I mean,
we shall see.
First of all, in America, you only have a small subsect of people who even watch fucking New Japan. And so you're taking a wide net, and then you're saying, I'm just going to cut off this little sliver and hope for the best.
Right. Bob Aruski says BN is a premium channel, and he lost it there. Jody Mania is saying she'd have to pay for Access to get it on her her cable network. Has a lot of stuff going on here, but we've seen stranger things happen. You know, people thought that when, and I'm not comparing this time to that time, but people thought when the Monday Night Wars came along that the audience was going to split. The audience fucking doubled. Like, everybody that watched one show watched the other one. I mean, the numbers were huge. But I think we're stretching things so thin now. It's going to be very difficult to maintain all of that stuff. But we'll see. It's certainly an exciting time if you are a wrestling fan. There's a lot of content out there. Another exciting time, call that a segue in the business, Silky. Another exciting time every week right here on the program is when we bring you Silky Baines' very own Benchmark Power Rankings. Let's go. It's the Benchmark Power Rankings for the week of July 21st, 2019. Top 5 wrestlers of the week according to our very own Benchmark Silky Baines. That's him in case you didn't know there. And it's a very interesting list this week.
I think it is. I mean, this is going more off field, and some of it's based on where I see it going, and it's got me excited. So, as someone who's been in wrestling for 15 years, if I'm watching your product and I'm actually getting excited, it's got to go on my list.
That's a good thing. All right, then. Kicking things off this week on the Benchmark Power Rankings for July 1st, 2019 at number 5.
Number 5, Samoa Joe. Wow.
Wait for it.
It's a goddamn abortion.
Damn
and
it.
See what happens when you hit my
Damn
hand?
it.
That fat bastard, you call him Sloppy Joe.
You don't stop disrespecting Samoa Joe.
I'm not going to stop.
I want him to come on our show. And
I want him to come on our show, too. Joe, you're
No.
welcome on this show anytime.
Yeah, right.
Good
Joe
sir.
would smack the shit out of you, and I would let that shit happen.
Well, he's obviously going to call into the show. He's not going to come here to $1 Million Studios, although he might.
Yeah. And
Sammy
I would
Guevara
let this
came
shit
through.
happen.
Got to get him back, too. Anyway,
Samoa Joe, best heel right now in WWE.
without question.
Without question. I mean, the match with Kofi was great. I mean, even though he's taking these losses, like,
All the fucking time.
all the fucking
which is
time.
ridiculous.
and like, even though he's taking them, it's still like the best, like the only good segment of fucking Raw Reunion was the promo and match between Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns.
That was great.
That's why I put him on my list.
All right, Samoa Joe checking in at number 5 this week. Number 4.
Number 4, Roman Reigns, because, hey, it's Roman Reigns. I haven't put him on the list in quite a bit, actually. But, I mean, I thought I love that segment so much, I put him on the list because, I mean, I
Fair
was
enough.
just a big fan of that segment.
And what about on SmackDown Live? SmackDown Live, he comes
Yeah.
out at the end. He had Kevin Owens and kicked the shit out of
Yeah. That was also
Shane
a bonus.
McMahon and everybody else there again. So, all right then. Well, all right. Roman Reigns at number 4. I'm interested to hear the reactions for this week's Power Rankings because, spoiler alert, I know what's going to happen, but we'll see what you guys think. All right, moving on to number 3.
Number 3, John Moxley. And I put him on the list, add some diversity. We're not all looking for Roman Reigns. But, in fact, he's undefeated right now in the G1, so doing great.
And who did you pick to come out of his group in the in the G1 this year?
Cobb.
You fucking liar. You picked John Moxley, so of course he's on the list. Kent is on the list for the last 2 weeks, and now we switch it to think that I'm not going to notice.
Do you not like John
from the other
Moxley?
side is John Moxley.
Do you
on the
not
list.
like John Moxley?
I'll tell you what I like about John Moxley. He cut a great promo today on the Road to All Out, the YouTube show that AEW has been doing to kind of promote the All Out show. And I thought it was funny because among the things that Moxley said about Kenny Omega, he said, this is a goddamn video game. And I thought that was so funny because so many of those AEW guys fucking hate Jim Cornette. And Jim Cornette has been knocking those guys as being video game wrestlers
Cosplayers.
for so long. And he always mentions about how, Kenny Omega in particular is this huge video game fan. And so for Moxley to come out and say it about Kenny Omega, I thought was very funny. No, I got no problem with Moxley being here. I agree with you. He's doing great.
Yeah.
Doing great for AEW, promoting the product and kicking ass over there in New Japan as well. So props to him. Very well done. All right, Moxley checks in at number 3. On to number 2.
Number 2, KO.
Oh, look at that. Thank you so much. Get the tables for the gifted sub to Brian there. Appreciate that. KO at number 2.
KO at number 2. I mean, I'm excited for this, him and Shane. I know you're not because it's Shane, but this storyline has been done really well. It feels different than their last storyline, which is, I think, a good thing. And so I'm interested to see where this goes. So that's why I put KO at number 2. I mean, it was a great segment, 2 at the end with the stunner.
I wasn't sure how I would feel about face Kevin Owens.
He's actually getting over pretty well.
And he's doing very well. I was about to say. And it's,
he's basically, I mean, it's almost fitting. I know I'm not making... When I say this, it's a little tongue-cheek, but it's almost fitting he's doing the stunner because of the fact that why he's so good as a face is because he's speaking against the authority figures, right? But you feel like he believes everything. That's what made Austin relatable, is that this wasn't a character like when you watched it, you didn't see like, oh, that's just a guy doing his role, playing his part.
Exactly.
You felt like he meant every fucking word he said.
Absolutely.
And that's how KO as a face is. The intensity he delivers his promo, you feel like that's how he actually feels.
Yeah. And Stone Cold sounds exactly the same now on the Raw reunion show on Monday. He's still the same guy because it was never an act for him. And I agree with you totally. I don't think it's an act for KO either. So, Kevin Owens checks in at number 2. On we go to number 1.
Might be a little controversy
on this.
here.
Oh, it's going to be controversial.
I mean, and I
Number
think you guys
1
will understand.
on this week's
I think you guys will
Benchmark
understand once I explain it.
Power
And if you don't,
Rankings.
kill yourself. It's my fucking list.
Here it is.
Dolph Ziggler. And I put him there because I'm sorry, as a fan, how can you not get excited for just the thought of a possible Ziggler-Michaels confrontation?
Well, they had a confrontation.
No, like an actual match.
You talk about a match.
Yes.
You think Shawn Michaels comes back out of retirement again for a match against Dolph Ziggler?
I think so. I really do. I think that he's going to come out for this because...
Are we going to get an Negro here? Are you going to call it? I'd be calling it if I were you, because that's a pretty bold prediction right there.
That is a pretty bold prediction. I think he comes out of retirement for a match with Ziggler.
Ziggler?
I mean, this match has been
Michaels.
wanted. I mean, and all you motherfuckers saying Dolph, like you, Kyle.
Kyle
No,
just dropped
God,
that.
kill yourself. Knowing goddamn well you wanted to see this fucking match. You never wanted to see Dolph Ziggler and Shawn Michaels.
I can think of a half dozen guys just off the top of my head I'd rather see fight Shawn Michaels than Dolph Ziggler.
Well, you're an idiot. Anyway.
That's a good comeback.
Yeah, it's the only comeback I need. Anyway, Dolph Ziggler and Shawn Michaels, because of the parodies, the similarities, like Alice said, he's a wannabe. He's always been compared to Shawn Michaels. And they have a lot of the same, not just Dolph still in his like super kick.
Yes.
But they have a lot of the same, like when you want a great match.
A lot of the same shenanigans?
Yeah, a lot of the same shenanigans. When you want a great match, you had Shawn Michaels. You put someone with Shawn Michaels. You wanted to make this guy look good.
That's true.
Back before he was like world champion status. The same thing with Ziggler. When you want someone to look really good, you put him in with Ziggler.
Now I'm not going to argue that Ziggler puts on great matches because he does. He doesn't have the pedigree that Shawn Michaels has. Obviously.
No, I'm not saying he's on the same fucking
level.
level.
No, I understand
now.
what you're saying.
I'm saying I want to see, because I think this would be an epic encounter. And I'm, as a fan, wanting to see that. And if you don't like it, fuck you. You guys thought you wanted to see Goldberg and The Undertaker. I was the only one that said that was going to be complete hot trash. And guess what?
Was the only one.
It was complete hot trash.
He was the only one that called that KO was going to turn on the New Day, too. That was another Negrodamus moment.
I did, though.
Benchmark Power Rankings for the week of July 21st, 2019. Let's recap them one more time. Kick it off with number 5.
Samoa Joe. Number 4, Roman Reigns. Number 3, Jon Moxley. Number 2, Kevin Owens. Number 1, Dolph Ziggler. You can all eat a dick. It's my list.
The Benchmark Power Rankings for the week of July 21st, 2019. 832-937-4559 is the phone number if you want to get in.
That's 832-93-SILKY.
Keep spreading the good word to everybody. See the Queen checking in here. Good to have you with us. Yeah, look. It would be interesting. If Dolph Ziggler is a guy that brings Shawn Michaels back for another match, I think a lot of people would be excited about it. I think a lot of people talk shit about it because
you motherfuckers talk shit, but you know goddamn well you would want to see that match.
That would be a good match.
That would be a good match. This is not like Goldberg and Leatherface. Not a good match. You motherfuckers wanted to see Sting versus The Undertaker, and there's 100 fucking years between the two of them, and you don't want to see Dolph Ziggler and Shawn Michaels?
Buckeye says Kenta's undefeated streak stopped at 5. Oh, sorry. Kenta's undefeated streak at number 5 has ended. Yeah, we've switched out Kenta for Silky's pick from the other block, Jon Moxley. So he's there. That's why that ended, Buckeye. He's still got to put one of his guys in the top 5. Just to remind you that he picked Kenta and Jon Moxley.
Hey, question. Speez. Serious.
I'm really...
From the bottom of my heart.
I can't wait to hear this.
From the bottom of my heart, do you have the power rankings?
Do I have a power rankings?
Is it Speed's power rankings?
Let me see.
Is it?
Hold on. Let me double check here. What that we call that? No. It's benchmark power rankings. Benchmark, I think. Yeah.
So it's benchmark power rankings.
Yeah.
Who's the benchmark? Wait, goddamn it, I'm the benchmark.
You are the benchmark.
So it's my power rankings. I can put whoever the fuck I want to. I don't need no goddamn justification.
This shit. Yeah, we do need Speed's power rankings. Thank you very much.
No, we don't.
It'd
be a bunch of white people.
It would not. Oh, Lord.
And the funny thing is, technically, I don't think there was any black people on my list this week.
I don't think there are. No.
I mean, 2 Samoans. That's close. Blackish.
Blackish.
Yeah, blackish.
Says. None of the eases this week.
None of the eases this week.
You say.
That's so racist when you say it, man. You know that.
Oh, my goodness gracious. So a couple of new developments since Monday night when we were here.
My power ranking's so good, we got a new follower.
Velocizapper, thank you so much for the follow. We appreciate that. Then have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up. Speez should power rank the McMahon. Stop it. That was the big thing. I go on Kyle King's 100th episode. I'm pimping his 100th episode here on the program. And what does he do? He and B-Mac trolled me about the fucking McMahon family for most of the show, but so it happens. We've got a couple new developments for SummerSlam as of yesterday. First of all, Shane McMahon, in one of his 12 segments on last night's show, showed the clip where Kevin Owens quit, which I thought could have been a really cool angle. And then he showed up in a couple weeks and never mentioned it again, and it was just kind of there. So the stipulation now for the Kevin Owens-Shane McMahon match at SummerSlam, in case you have not heard, will be that if Kevin Owens loses, he will have to quit WWE.
That's kind of stupid.
Any chance Kevin Owens loses that match? Any chance Kevin Owens is somehow getting out of his contract? We don't know about it, and he's going to lose and go to AEW.
No.
Okay, just checking.
I mean, there's a chance.
Have a good night, Get the Tables. Thanks for stopping.
There's a chance he could lose his match, but it's all for the comeback. You know what I mean?
Yes. Thank you, Get the Tables, for the 100 bits there. We appreciate that.
So, I mean, just like when Austin fucking lost and had, well, quote unquote, had to leave. Just
Stop
like
it, Michael Berry.
Cena fucking lost and had to leave. So I think that there is a chance Shane could win this, of course, with a bunch of outside interference.
Yes.
And, also maybe going for the surprise. Like, everyone thinks when you put a stipulation like this that Owens is going to win.
Right, exactly.
So you go the opposite route. You make him lose.
And then he's got to find his way back.
Yeah, and then basically a la Stone Cold, he comes causing hell every fucking week until he gets either he gets a match
to try to earn his way back.
Yeah, with Shane in a cage or something like that, somewhere where he can't get. I mean, you could, you could probably run this storyline till Hell in a Cell and get another Hell in a Cell between them. Have Kevin Owens lose, and then come back, week after week, fucking up Shane's show.
We can't have those jokers in a Hell in a Cell again.
I mean, I'm just saying that's a good.
I see what you're saying, though. You could go in that direction. I hope Kevin Owens doesn't lose this thing. I want this thing to go away. What is that coming out of the heart? It looks like a unicorn.
Okay, that's not what it looks like.
Kind of phallic-looking unicorn emoji there from Get the Tables. But
it's a rainbow. I was like, is that a dick coming out? That looks like a dick. 100%.
Debuting somebody to screw Owens would be great, says Bob Ruski. Shane, stop it. See, Kyle King just here trolling. And I don't generally get worked up at comments until shit like this comes across the timeline. And you just got to tell this guy, shut up! Shane versus Kofi at Mania. Shane, the new WWE champ. Hit the cornet sounder. It's what
the fuck?
It's a goddamn abortion and a disgrace.
Stop it.
Man.
It's fucking embarrassing.
Exactly. It's fucking embarrassing that it's gone on this long anyway.
I mean, if you're looking for heels and massive heat as a short term, obviously, if that happened, it would be him losing to maybe even give the title to someone else. But
you absolutely cannot put the WWE Championship on Shane McMahon.
Why the fuck couldn't you?
No.
Why?
No.
You put it on fucking Jinder Mahal.
No. Jinder Mahal is fucking Gotch compared to Frank Gotch. Frank Gotch? Carl Gotch. Fucking Carl. Why can I never remember Carl Gotch's first name? It's because Simon came along and fucked it all up. Carl Gotch compared to fucking Shane McMahon. You cannot, in this day and age, put the title on Shane McMahon. You can't do it.
I mean, you could.
I was agreeing with you, you human jar of mayo.
There you go.
Says Kyle.
He was. But, yeah, that's why he said hit the cornet sounder, because they're all bad.
Sorry.
I mean, I wouldn't say at Mania, but I could definitely see maybe even in a SmackDown realm, since they're going to the, it's almost like they're trying to push that Attitude Era back into the Attitude Era, taking bits and pieces from it, I should say. Like a 1 week title thing where he fucking massively screws Kofi, becomes the champ, and then the next week Kofi wins it back.
Yeah,
or,
I don't know.
Go to the pay-per-view and Kofi wins it back just to get more heat on Shane, because motherfuckers like you will fucking ride, and we'll have a Speez edition of Smart Tears.
Goddamn right.
Regarding Shane McMahon being the WWE champ, even if it's only to advance a storyline, and it can only elevate Kofi, because once he wins, guess what? As over as Kofi is, he's going to be even more over.
Kofi doesn't need to be elevated by fucking Shane McMahon. It just doesn't. Because I'm hearing this far too often. And I came up with an example of why this shit doesn't hold water. This idea that somehow the authority storyline between Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens is similar to the Stone Cold Steve Austin, Vince McMahon authority story. Now, I'm not saying that you did, but I see that a lot. Like, well, you got to have an authority figure, and a guy fights back against the authority figure. Well, you didn't like Stone Cold and Vince McMahon? It's not the same fucking thing.
It 100%
It's not the same
is.
thing. No,
it's
it's
done
not the same
differently.
thing. It's not the same thing.
It's done differently, but I mean, on the base level, it's the same fucking thing.
It's the same idea, but it's not the same thing. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not the same thing. I thought of the perfect example. All right.
Somehow I doubt
Back
that.
of, I guess probably about 15 years ago now, they did a remake of the movie Psycho. You remember Psycho? Alfred Hitchcock, one of the great thrillers of all time, from one of the great directors of all time. And they did a remake of Psycho, and it was notable because it was a shot-by-shot remake of the original Psycho.
And it was complete garbage.
Literally the exact same film.
And you put Vince Vaughn in it.
Exactly. Vince Vaughn is Norman Bates. Anne Heche played his victim there. And it didn't work. It didn't work at all. Why didn't it work? Because it's not the same actors. Those actors don't have the same chemistry. It's not the same chemistry with the director. You didn't have somebody like Hitchcock at the time. You forget that in the context of it, back when Psycho was released, there was no internet. There were no big, long movie trailers and so on. And nobody going into that movie had any idea that Vivian Leigh was going to get killed halfway through the movie.
Well, at the beginning.
And then people freak out and they go, holy shit, what's going to happen for the rest of the movie? It was one of a kind in that regard. It's the same thing that we're seeing here. This is not Stone Cold and Vince McMahon because it's not Stone Cold and Vince McMahon.
But this
Kevin
is also
Owens and
not
Shane McMahon are not those types of characters. People are not flocking from miles around and selling out arenas all over the country to go see Kevin Owens kick Shane McMahon's ass like they did see Stone Cold kick Vince McMahon's ass.
It's a different time, though.
It is. That's my point.
It's a different time. It's literally the same thing. It's a different time. So, I mean, you can't... And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying these two feuds are, like, equal in, like, importance and how good they are. But at the very core, they're the same fucking feud.
Thank you, Shugsy, making the small donation. Very much appreciated. Thank you.
So,
yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean,
it's literally the same fucking thing. Of course, it's done differently. It's from a different perspective and stuff like that. You know, Vince McMahon was the power-hungry, like, owner of the company. Shane is coming off more as the glory hound. He's got a taste of wrestling, some success, and it's gone to his fucking head.
And he doesn't have the pull that Vince McMahon did. Because as much as Shane might want to be his father and might want to come off as his father, he's not. And
I don't think he wants to come off as his father. That's why that's what makes this so much different. Well,
see, to me, he does because he keeps saying,
makes it
I'm your boss, you work for me, blah, blah, blah. I can't help but when I see those types of exchanges where Shane starts throwing out that I'm your boss, you work for me, this is my ring. I keep waiting for Vince's music to hit one of these days. And for him to come out there and just shit on Shane. Whoa. This is my fucking ring. You know, that kind of thing. It doesn't have the same oomph to it. Yes, it does not. Let's talk about SummerSlam, says Alice. Well, that's what we're talking about. Thank you, Shugsy, very much for the tip. Again, that was very awesome. Really appreciate that. So we've got Kevin Owens taking on Shane McMahon. KO will have to quit if he loses that match. We also found out yesterday that Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, has accepted the challenge from Finn Balor to face Finn Balor at SummerSlam. We've heard through the various and sundry dirt sheets that Finn Balor is planning on taking some time off. So is it a foregone conclusion that the Fiend, number one, wins this match? And if so, does that take away from some of the enjoyment of the match because we know how it's going to go? Thank you, Queen, very much for the bits.
I think that it doesn't take away from the enjoyment because I think it's going to be obviously it's going to be a great match. And but we know where it's going. Even if he's not actually leaving, even if it's just a storyline to take him off so he can come back as the Demon.
You're okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Will Bray wrestle with the mask, Shugsy? I would
think so.
I think so, based on everything that we've seen so far. it looks like that will be the case. Any scenario where Finn Balor goes over in this match?
I mean, possibly because it's WWE and Bray Wyatt involved.
How big? Okay, well, let's put it this way. How big of a disaster would it be if Finn Balor went over in this match? Does it just – because to me, it kills everything that you've done with Bray Wyatt.
It undoes every fucking thing.
Unless Bray goes apeshit and gets disqualified
something
and he wins
like that.
that way, that could work.
That could work. But other than that, if he takes a pinfall, it's like you might as well just say, fuck it. I'm not – like I showed you that meme, I think, where it's like Bray Wyatt from the Firefly Funhouse. Fuck, you know.
Firefly Funhouse, I'm with you.
Yeah. And where he's like this, pointing to his head like he's thinking is like, you know, WWE can't bury me if I'm not wrestling. And then he comes back and wrestles and it would be bad.
I think it would be bad as well. So it looks like Bray Wyatt, you would figure, would go over in that match. We got Seth Rollins against Brock Lesnar. Again, neither one of us really all that excited about that one. Becky Lynch and Natalya, and we spoke about this the other night as well. Do we see somebody getting added to that match? We talked a little bit about this on Friday.
Right as of now, no, but I mean, let's not rule it out. I mean, something to make it more watchable.
I suppose. Now, another match that's being tossed about, and spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear this,
too fucking bad. You're listening to our show
for a second. But apparently online, it was somebody floated out there that WWE had been in contact with Trish Stratus about appearing at SummerSlam for a match against Charlotte Flair. What would you think about a Charlotte Flair Trish Stratus matchup at SummerSlam? Any interest in seeing that one?
I mean, I think it'll be good. It's Charlotte, so I believe she can make this a great match. But, you know, it's still a much older, not in her prime, Trish Stratus. It's okay when you're wrestling a tag team match and you're doing, like, your nostalgia tour of your spots. It's another thing to hold, like, 15 minutes in the ring with the best fucking woman in wrestling, one of the best women in wrestling, and make it entertaining. So, but all you guys who want to see that match but don't want to see Ziggler and fucking Shawn Michaels, you kiss my black ass. As you can tell, that touched the sauce.
I can tell. That's okay, though. It's all right. Everybody comes here to watch you anyway, Silky. That's why we give you power rankings, because that's it. What would even be the point of that match, says Buckeye Eagle? Well, you're taking your top star in the female division right now.
It's almost like a passing of the torch, essentially.
Didn't I say that before, and you gave me all kinds of shit about how the fuck can Trish Stratus pass that? I said that exact same shit. I'm going to go find the video when Trish and Lita were going to have the match against Sasha and Bayley. And I said, it'd be kind of like the passing of the torch. You say, well, how the fuck can they pass the torch? They hadn't been in the ring in like 15 years. How can Lita and Trish pass the torch? And now you're taking my line and saying pass the torch. You don't remember that?
And I stand by that comment then. I stand by it. But I'm just putting it in the context. So
how is it different now?
I'm just putting it in the context of why WWE would want to do a match like this.
I think I want to say,
I'm not denying that I said that.
I want to say that you actually said that. I'm going to quote you here. That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. I believe that was your exact quote, Silky.
No, I just said that this show about the
you
statistics.
say that a lot of times.
I do say that a lot.
Shit.
But again, I stand by that. I'm just providing context of why they would book a match like this. It's for the fans out there that's like, it's a passing of the torch. But, I mean, it's still, I don't see it as that.
That was a good idea when I said that before, wasn't it? That it was a passing of the torch.
I don't think it's a passing of the torch.
That was some good analysis on my part.
I still don't
Even in retrospect, you won't admit it.
I don't see how she could pass the fucking torch. She's so far past. If she would have done this, if Charlotte would have came earlier, and she would have put Charlotte over on her way out, then you're passing the torch.
Alice agrees with me. Well, there, pal. What women's wrestlers are from Canada? Book them, says Bob Haruski. Charlotte might lose to Trish due to the return of the real Liv Morgan. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But stranger things have happened.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned this earlier today. This SummerSlam card,
It's not filling me, swelling me up with. Like,
You know what?
Oh,
And-
I got to see this. I'm going to watch it, of course.
I was going to say, and it kind of, when I go in with low expectations, WWE tends to surpass those expectations. And
Which
honestly,
is always a good way to go watch a WWE pay-per-view. You go in thinking it's going to be bad, so when it's even just watchable, you're like, you know what, I really enjoyed it. That's the best way to watch anything. Honestly.
I think Kofi and Randy Orton is going to be a really good match.
Oh, yeah.
I think Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt is going to be really fun to watch. I think Lesnar and Rollins will be an interesting match. Some boss may be seen, says Bob Ruski. Maybe so. But hopefully they get some more stuff in there to kind of build things up, because right now, for a
Hence,
SummerSlam,
Ziggler and Michaels.
it's looking a little bit underwhelming. All right, let's shout out
I'm
everybody.
going to start a petition to get this match happening, because, and I want people to have the same energy once it's announced. I want you guys to remember all the shit you gave me, and then you guys are going to be like, I can't wait for Ziggler and Michaels. Assholes, the
All
whole
right,
lot of you.
Well, let's shout out everybody who joined us here tonight. Bob Baruski, Jody Mania, Alistair Fiend, Buckeye Eagle, Freddie Bott, Commander Root, MJK, Noob, Shugsy. Thank you again, Shugsy, for the donation there. Good to have all of you guys. And, of course, the Queen.
Oh, yeah, Ember versus Bailey. We forgot about that.
That's true. We got that one as well. The Queen, Get the Tables. Thank you, both of you, for the bits, as well as Bill. And shout out to Velocizapper for the follow. And congrats to Texas Legend fan Brian, or should I say Freebirds for Life, for getting that gifted sub here this evening. Silky Banes, we're off until Monday. No Wrestle Trivia tomorrow. It's our off week, so we'll be back next week with Wrestle Trivia. Anything else to get out there before we say goodnight this evening?
All of you who talk shit about my excitement to see Shawn Michaels and Dolph Ziggler.
Don't do it. Don't
Kill
do it.
yourself.
You can't do that, man. We're gonna get his Twitch. The
Send your
opinions
hate
of
mail
Mr.
to
Baines do not reflect those of the producers here on the Speez of the Benchmark show.
Which I am one of, so it does.
Jesus.
So send your hate mail to $1 Million Studios.
Attention,
1, 2, 3.
Silky
Kiss my
Baines.
black ass.
For the Benchmark, Silky Baines.
Yo.
Chris Spizak. We'll see you back here Monday night, immediately following Monday Night Raw, right here on the Speez and the Benchmark show. Good night, everybody.